A.M.B, first of all, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
I can't complain. Besides the fact that I'm down here, it's like boiling in the heat. I can't complain. I'm healthy. Amidst the coronavirus pandemic, things are looking up. And how are y'all guys coping in Boston with the whole virus thing and everything like that?
What I see it's where I'm at. We good. You know what I'm saying? I know the reports sound different, but cases of coronavirus doesn't mean that they're dying. So, as long as they're recovering from it, we good.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Understood. It's good to know. My kids are definitely over there in Mass, so try to keep in touch with their moms and make sure everything's okay over there. I'm glad to know you're okay over there, and your mother, your family members, everybody's okay over there.
Oh yeah, everybody's good.
Okay, that's good. All right, A.M.B. We're gonna dive right into it, homie. First of all, what does the 3-letter in the word A.M.B stand for?
So it stood for, in 1998 to 2010, it stood for Anonymous Machete Blade.
Mm-hmm.
I was battle rapper, trying to hit you with ill lyrics. Then as I got older in my 30s, I started to grow, and I wanted my name to reflect my growth. So then I decided to use African Man Born as a symbol of connecting all Black people, all Nubian people, no matter the language, through hip hop music, and using that music as I get older to just reflect teaching and change. So that's why it was the African Man Born. You know?
Okay, understood. Makes a lot of sense. And so you was born in Massachusetts? Were you raised over there?
I was born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts, Roxbury, right over there. Actually, I was born in the South End, which that was considered Roxbury at that time.
Okay.
But I was born in the Boston City Hospital, now Boston Medical. So all of that was Roxbury, and I was raised mainly in Roxbury. Yeah.
Wasn't at one point in time Malcolm X? I don't mean to interrupt. Wasn't on Malcolm X around that stomping ground once upon a time, like Roxbury?
I live right off. So I live on Circuit Street. That's parallel to Dale Street, where Malcolm X lived.
Okay.
There's a house where Malcolm X lived at. If you look at the beginning of the Malcolm X movie, that was in Dudley. You know what I'm saying?
Dudley, definitely.
That was his stomping grounds back in the. I forgot. I think it was.
That's when y'all had the overpass trains. The trains on top. Yeah. Okay.
6. So I was still around. I remember that train, the orange line.
Orange line, right? Okay, definitely. A lot of people sometimes when they hear, especially out of state people, when they hear Boston, they think Boston describes the whole Massachusetts, and they don't realize it's just a city in Massachusetts.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Capital. So that's
I know you've heard that before, right? You heard that before. A lot of out-of-towners would think they like if you're from an area like Lynn, Massachusetts, or Beverly, or Revere, or whatever, or Brockton, they just say Boston. Period. They just call the whole entire Massachusetts Boston.
Yeah, because Boston is pretty small, but capital. You know what I'm saying? So we're on the coast over there by if you look at South Boston, East Boston, all of that is on the coast. Measure Boston by way of, the city.
Yeah.
Dorchester, Mattapan, Hyde Park. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Boston. Then everywhere else, of course, is outskirts. Just like you have Rochester, New York. You know what I'm saying? Syracuse. All of those areas are north of New York.
Yeah.
But New York, even the city, that you don't really. You know what I'm saying? You look at because Brooklyn and all these things are geographically bigger than Boston. You know what I'm saying? Like Brooklyn.
Yeah, definitely. And mostly mentioned, so to speak. You know what I mean? A lot of a lot of people the same thing, correlating it with New York. A lot of people think New York, out of town people that don't know better, mostly in other countries, I would say, would think when you say New York, they don't realize there's a Newburgh, New York. There's Albany, New York. They don't realize that. You know what I mean?
Also New York.
Which is New York State. But New York City, they think the whole New York is New York City.
Exactly. So that's what they do in Boston. They think that Beverly is Boston, Lynn, Lawrence. In most artists, most artists that come from those areas, they're gonna claim Boston. They're not gonna claim Beverly, Lawrence. They're not gonna claim Lynn. They're gonna claim. but I'm actually a Boston artist. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So not to knock what they doing, because that's probably their identity that they're trying to claim. But like me, I'm actually a Boston artist, raised in Boston. There's plenty of artists like me that are born, raised.
So now, is that your family background? You just where you have anything else going on, like a Bayesian, from Barbados, Trinidad, anything else like that? Where your family is really from, or are they just 100% American?
Other side is Panamanian.
Okay.
My grandmother is Guaymi Indian, Panama. If you know anything about the Guaymi Indian, a lot of them are linked to the Apache, and we already know about the Apache with Geronimo and his fights with the West and all that. And then when they were over there in the West Coast, and for us, Guaymi Indian, a lot of us like stand on the Zulu bloodline.
Okay.
You can tell by the necklaces. You know what I'm saying? Most tribes you can tell by necklaces and what African lineage they're tied to. So the Guaymi Indians, the Sunblast Indians, all of them pretty much are the indigenous people of Panama. And then when slaves started getting taken over from Ghana to Costa Rica to Panama, they went to Jamaica. A lot of them went to Jamaica.
Yeah.
You know, that's why a lot of us have to speak the patois and understand it. You know what I'm saying? Because those areas dropped off slaves. You know what I'm saying? And that's where you get the treasure maps and all that from. And we started going into Panama, and we started adapting to the Spanish culture because of, we started speaking Latin, started speaking different languages, but especially Spanish areas like Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia. So,
and a little after, not to fail to mention that they a lot of West Indians started working on the Panama Canal, like in the 60s, I believe, something like that.
It was like the 1950s,
60s. And they decided to they just migrated there, and they decided to settle there, basically. Yeah. It's kind of like squatting and stuff. Definitely. Yeah. Okay. All right. And well, that's a very interesting past, man. I feel like a lot of the youth today is misguided. They need to get educated. As far as this go, and this information needs to be out there. We need to always, I remember hip hop back in the days. Used to educate the youth while entertaining the youth. You got the KRS-Ones, the Public Enemy, the anthem that they made years back, Self-Destruction. It used to educate so many people, man. Miss Melody, KRS-One's wife, she was a part of that movement. D-Nice, you know what I mean? I think a lot of that is needed, definitely needed these days.
Yeah, especially now.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So what made you decide to choose the music path? I mean, from speaking to you, it sounds like you definitely could have been an educator of Pan American Studies or something like that, maybe in one of those universities in Massachusetts. Really, you know what I mean? So you seem to know your thing. But what made you really want to focus, specify yourself to music, entertainment?
Because rap is a music art that allows you to be yourself, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
An educator, you can be yourself, like Joe Clark in New Jersey, in Patterson, New Jersey, but you see what you have a Joe Clark. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In school, kind of attack those type of people.
Yeah.
But he's, you know what I mean? They attack those type of people in the sense of they don't like the radicalness, even though he's telling the truth. And hip hop, even though they attack them, are radical. There's a lot of us that can go out and say what we say, and we're not afraid to say what we say. And to do it in rhyme form is a challenge in itself. So I love the whole rap thing from the time I've listened to Sucker MCs back when I was a baby.
Mm-hmm.
I with it, you know what I'm saying? When Run DMC was out and even Sugar Hill Gang,
yeah,
the whole thing with words that I was just like into. I was like, I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what made me. So to answer the question about being an educator, I decided as I grew older to use education hip hop and just like KRS-One did, like Nas and other Rakims and all them.
Yeah,
and my way. You know what I mean?
I'm going to tell you, brother, the school system, especially in America, can use a lot of Joe Clarks. Definitely. Yeah. If they would have had a lot of Joe Clarks within the school system a long time ago, you would have seen less school shooters and stuff like that we've seen unfold. A lot of dramatical things that we've seen unfold on our TV screens. Definitely, we definitely need a lot of Joe Clarks, and not just in the school systems, in the homes also. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, definitely those. That's definitely necessary. And so what other musical acts came out of Massachusetts? Where I'm not going to get into like house music and other genres as of now, but like I mean like hip hop. What contribution has the Massachusetts hip hop artists given the hip hop culture as a whole?
Have Almighty RSO.
Okay, shout outs to them. Benzino. A lot of people know Benzino from the Source magazine.
Yep. Benzino. You had Made Men that RSO.
Shout out. I definitely am familiar with them. Shout out to Main T, by the way. Main T. Yep, and all them brothers. Yeah.
Wise guys.
Thank the Juice. Yeah.
Juice. Tony Rome. All of them. And then you had.
What's the other brother name? The I just found out he's Honduranian. The other brother, T.Y.S, Antonio Ansaldi. Shout outs to him too.
Yeah, I know he's Honduranian.
You didn't know that? He's Honduranian. Yeah, Garifana.
Okay, I gotta talk to him because
I definitely. You speak to him from time to time?
Yeah, I speak to him. He's still out here.
I definitely want to get him on the show one of these times because I definitely know he got a story to tell. Everybody has been hearing Benzino's side of things, but I definitely I think he deserves an interview to tell his story too. You know what I mean?
Definitely has a story to tell.
Definitely.
Of course, Ed O.G.
Okay. Pioneer, legendary. Ed O.G. and the Bulldogs.
Yeah, a lot of people contribute the legacy of Boston through Ed O.G. because if I got to have it touch so many different.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
And he even had I had a father be a father to your child and songs like Speak on It. He was definitely like a mix of both conscious and like party hip. Then I mean, there's so many acts. Guru from Gangstar, who traveled out of Boston. He's actually from Roxbury, where I'm from.
Yeah. Shout out to Big Shook from Mattapan. That's one of my old stomping grounds when I moved from Brooklyn, New York. Definitely shout out to Big Shook.
What's his name? Concrete Click with Tony.
I remember that. From Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Big Schmo and all them. Rest in peace. I think.
Rest in peace of Big Schmo. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's so many. You
got the homie Smoke Bulger. You got who else you got?
7L Esoteric from
Esoteric 7L.
You have Rex from Lawrence. Technology from Lawrence. Have there's so many contributions from Mass that a lot of people probably don't know about if they're not into the underground scene here because most of these underground is the two major acts was pretty much RSO, Edo, and then you had other people because like you said, other than that, we all know about New Edition. The world knows about New Edition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Belbiv DeVoe, New Edition, definitely. Orchard Park Projects, OP, yeah, definitely.
Marky Mark, you know what I'm saying? That's how he started. A lot of people don't know Mark Wahlberg started from Marky Mark.
A lot of young kids, the millennials, they don't know Mark. They don't know he was a boxer too. They don't know he got some hands too. Yeah, Marky Mark. He lived over there in Dorchester, right? He's from Dorchester.
He was from South Boston.
And then he later on moved to, I think when he formed New Kids on the Block, didn't they move to like Dorchester or something?
And then they blew up from there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there was a whole bunch of contributions.
That time y'all guys had a manager, I believe, by the name of Maurice Starr. He was a well-known manager.
Everybody knew about Maurice Starr.
Maurice Starr, yeah. Okay. Definitely a lot of Boston history, man. Boston is rich with a lot of history, man. Definitely. And I got this thing. I got this issue, and I saw it on I believe it was Talib Kweli. He got a podcast going on, and I believe he was interviewing. I don't know if he was interviewing the Game. I don't know who he was interviewing. And he said something that really touched me, and I that's something I've been thinking about for the longest time. The term underground hip hop. Yeah. That same underground hip hop used to be kind of like a mainstream hip hop back in the KRS One days and all that. Meaning that's all you heard on your MTV raps with Ed Lover and Dre, Video Music Box in New York. You know what I mean? With Ralph McDaniels. So How do you feel about underground hip hop is getting categorized just underground hip hop and not correlating everything as a whole? Like, I mean, you got this new movement called trap music, which a lot of people don't know, especially in Latin America, is a subgenre of hip hop. Anyway, it's the hip hop birthed the trap movement that's going on right now. So it's like, how do you feel about that? I want to ask you that. How do you feel about them categorizing? Oh, that's just underground hip hop, like it doesn't matter or something, or it's less considered.
It sounds like
relevant.
That when they do that, it sounds like something that they make to label music. You know what I'm saying? Instead of it being one inclusive, because they're rapping, right? Trap, rapping, hip hop. You know what I'm saying? They all use this form of rap. So the thing, one of the things that Big Daddy Kane said on the Beef DVD, when they started you, that's when they started messing up what the sound is, because trap music, they did that. Bone Thugs and Harmony did trap music, but they never. It was just hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like when you listen to Bone and then you listen to Wu-Tang, it was all hip hop. It just sounded different. You know what I'm saying? When you listen to like Crucial Conflict, they did trap music because the style of that bounce.
So what's the definition of trap music? Let these young kids though, because he probably thinking it has to have an audio tune sound or something like that for it to be called trap music. What does trap means anyway? What does that mean? I know what it means, but tell these people what the trap music, what it trap means. You from the trap.
So when I talk to them, they talk about on the trap. So you out there hustling, you out there, you know, moving that weight and stuff like that.
Legal activities, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
I guess their music is reflective of that, like Future and Migos. I guess they're reflective of moving being on the trap, hustling and doing what they do, illegal activity.
So it's fair to say that Wu-Tang, when he made Cream get the money, and all those songs, they was already doing trap music, but it was East Coast, with the East Coast lingo.
Yeah, the East Coast trap. That's what it was.
And then go ahead, brother.
Yeah, they was talking about their story. Like, you know, that's one of the illest songs of all time. Cream, with him and they talk about their illegal hustles,
the Jux game and all of that. Yeah.
Biggie's whole first album was talking about the rap. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to live no more. Yeah.
And sometimes I hear death knocking on my front door.
Yeah.
Like Jay-Z's whole first album. You know what I mean? Reasonable Doubt. That was a trap. So the content is what makes a trap, not necessarily the beats. You know what I'm saying? They kind of make it seem like it's a beat. So they'll be like if you talk to a lot of producers now, they'll be like, that's a trap beat, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's not really a trap beat because they're doing 1995, you heard Bone Thugs do that. You know, that same way. And now everybody's taking the Bone Thug style and then attributing it to Migos, attributing it to Future, attributing it to Drake. You know,
fair to say, the first time I heard Southern trap music was T.Y., and it was definitely if I'm not mistaken, I think Shorty Low too. Rest in peace. Yeah. And then plus I lived out there. I remember when I lived in Bankhead and those areas, in Decatur and those areas, and then Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane definitely was a down Southern trap to the core. You know what I mean?
Yeah, still. Right.
Brothers like Gorilla Zoe. Isn't Gorilla Zoe out there too from Atlanta?
He's from LA.
He's from Gorilla Zoe?
Yeah, I think he's from LA.
No, he's from Atlanta.
I'm thinking of Gorilla Black.
No, not him. Not the one that sounded like Shine. The one that sounded like Biggie and Shine or whatever. No, not him. So the Gorilla Zoe is from ATL, because I knew a female that dated him. Definitely. Okay. And damn. So what was your upbringing like over there in Massachusetts? Like you know, if you look at New York, now that became the center, the mecca for gang banging. You know, the Bloods, the Crips, and them brothers out there doing that. And of course, you had the Latin Kings back in the days. How was it like? Because the times that I've spent in Massachusetts, gang banging been a thing from long time ago. You know what I mean?
Gang banging here was more the starter jacket again, like that back in the 90s, especially. In the 90s, if you wore a certain jacket, you was from a certain hood. So you had like in Franklin Hill, they had the Giants. You had OP was the Trailblazers. Mission was Michigan.
And OP is the projects where you auditioned from, right?
Yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
people,
So
yeah.
they started that starter jacket gang. That was kind of equivalent to like what the Bloods was doing in LA and New York and Chicago. So with Boston's identity was use the sports jackets and the
So it's teams, basically based on teams then.
They did that in the 80s.
That's why RSO had the hockey jerseys on and all that, and Hellbound and all them videos they came out in.
That was a gang.
Makes sense. Yeah.
It was kind of Boston's identity of gang banging. You know what I'm saying? Because Boston had a high crime rate in the 90s. In the early 90s, Boston was one of the top cities in gang stuff until Mayor Menino came in and he
Mayor Menino pulled I remember reading something about it and pulling a Mayor Giuliani move over there in Massachusetts.
Yeah,
right.
Major, not as extreme as Giuliani. Giuliani was definitely
he went after bangers and mobs and mafia and everything, one as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah, so he definitely Whitey Bulger leave. You know what I'm saying? Because at that time, Whitey Bulger was doing a lot of dust stuff, and you know, Mayor Menino, he had a whole different approach to law enforcement, and he even bounced. Like he was, was on a 15-year hiatus. Nobody knew who he was, according to
the FBI and stuff like that. So Whitey Bulger controlled the first time I ever heard about, me being a New Yorker, first time I heard about Whitey Bulger was like a myth, like somebody that it's like he definitely wasn't a Mario. That they definitely didn't have a good taste for him. Nobody, you understand me? But I heard about him around the South End area and those areas.
Yeah, he was mainly in South Boston, so he was like old colony project kid.
Yeah,
70s, and then he moved up because of his associations with with certain people in law enforcement, and which is why he got his start. As that came out with that. It gets into how he pretty much worked with FBI to do from Florida all the way to Boston.
Okay.
So he definitely was like, he had people in Roxbury, Dorchester, but he didn't have a lot because there was a guy up here by Daryl Whitey that was from New York, from Queens, I think, that was an OP.
Oh, so he had that on lock. That's based on the movie God with LL Cool J. LL Cool J playing that guy over there. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So he had his area with the blacks, and Whitey Bulger was controlling the Irish America. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
Got rid of the Italians, like the power. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's some rough dudes out there, man. I used to go out there to Charlestown all the time. Actually, when I left Westinghouse High School in Brooklyn, New York, I went out to as a teenager. My mother, brought me from Brooklyn because I was getting in too much trouble and stuff like that. Then I remember going. I think the first high school I went to was Charlestown High School in Massachusetts.
Yep.
And they was knocking off Italians like left and right in the restaurants and all that other stuff, man. Applebee's everywhere, you name it. You know what I mean? And I was like, what the hell is going on? You know what I mean? And then people told me it was a mob hit. You know what I mean? They was at war at the time, Irish and Italian. Irish is pretty rough, man. Pretty rough.
Irish are goons, man.
Yeah. This is difference in how they go about organized crime. One is more flamboyant, thanks to John Gotti, and then the other one is more. They don't give a damn about the 3-piece suits. They don't care about they just rugged. The Irish just don't play. They're rugged. You know what I mean? They get straight to the point. They go with the hands and they go with the other stuff.
Yeah, that's how it was.
So they call them the Fighting Irish, definitely.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And so what are some of the projects that you're working on right now?
So I just released the Hip Hop to New albums, my 10th album, but it's a compilation of all of my last 9 albums, official albums. When I mean like official albums, I'm talking about original beats, original music that I copyright and all that other stuff. Mixtapes, that's over industry beats. You know what I'm saying? So, but I have 9 albums before this one, and it's 37 of my best songs from the 9 albums.
Hold on. I don't mean to stop. 9 albums?
Yeah.
You mean to tell me that you put out 9 albums on your own?
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Work ethic is crazy, brother.
Yeah, that's on top of the mix. So the mixtapes, like 13 joints. You know what I'm saying? So I was working. You know what I'm saying? I never stopped. You know what I'm saying? I never really stopped. even on my roads to trying to find, I never really stopped. Like put out music, and you know, have a legacy. You build a legacy at a certain point. You know what I'm saying?
You know, when I first heard one of your mixtapes, I gotta admit, I gotta be honest, I was like, did this brother know that it's okay to just write 16 bars, or why he gotta spit like 100 bars a verse? Like damn. Like you gotta really take time out the schedule to hear A.A.M.B album, because he's going to tell you a lot of knowledge yourself. He's going to tell you some truth, but it's going to be a lot of bars.
Yeah. At that time, I was just trying to, you know, I wanted people to see that I had it. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. So nowadays, I'm like more of the 16 bar, 8 bar hook guy. You know what I'm saying? I go there 16. You know what I'm saying? I like it. Depends. Unless I want to think outside the box.
Industry standard, make it pleasurable to the ears a little bit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Don't overwhelm them too much.
Yeah, back then I was trying to hit them like, you know.
You didn't care? Yeah. I can relate to that. I definitely can relate to that. Definitely. Another question I want to ask you, right? Because a lot of people look like, you know, like they, you know, I've been on the streets all over. I lived in like 15, 17 parts of the U.S., different states and everything. And, you know, as far as Boston goes or Massachusetts, do you feel like since it's so close to New York that the energy that came out of Massachusetts as far as rap goes, do you think it's been overshadowed by New York, the presence of New York, where like the Boston rap artists never had their fair share to shine the right way because New York is just right there? Do you feel like there's any kind of biasness too when it comes to the New York artists that just at some point in time just wanted to be heard for themselves alone?
I think some of the major radio stations and some of the major labels, yeah, they have bias. I mean, you can look that up back when Outkast won the award for the Source. You know what I'm saying? And they kind of booed out that. You know what I'm saying? Because they was in New York like that time when Suge went up there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when I look at that and then I look at our relationship with New York, we're close. We're 4 hours away. You know what I'm saying? We're almost sound the same if you think about it. Like New York sounded when Biggie was out, there was a lot of rappers that wanted to sound like because that's how they felt was going to get them on. When Bang was going, so it was kind of like it's not New York's fault that we sound like New York, but if it comes to like biasness and stuff, yeah, because you want to be able to, hip hop is universal now, and you can be overshadowed by the fact that New York is the Mecca. You know what I mean? New York is that. You know what I mean? When you think of hip hop, you always start with New York. You know what I'm saying? You always start with that Bronx, Cedar Park in the Bronx. You know, Cedric Ave. You know what I'm saying? You always talk about that. And then you go into Brooklyn and Queens.
Yeah.
You know, and then you go into Nas and Jay-Z's. So I feel like some of the radio stations are biased to only New York when there's MCs all over the world. And Boston being so close to New York, we, as much as we should probably get as much recognition in New York because we're right there.
Yeah.
We kind of have to, you know, we kind of get overshadowed.
Do you think it's because the radio stations and the the radio stations are controlled by the record labels? Do you think the record labels they know this, or they just don't care, or at one point in time back in the days the record labels was being strong armed by different crews or different sets in New York to gearing things, you know, to make their point across, basically, to make things go their way. You know what I mean? Basically, what I mean to say is, like, if I'm a well-known rap artist from New York, I want to put my cousin on, or I'm gonna put my boys on from the block. When my boys is already on from my block, then once they on, they gonna put their boys on from the same hood, and it's just like that. It's like it's just like a repetitive thing, where it leaves no room for anybody else. If it might be somebody that got more talent than a lot of rap artists' relatives, but they don't care. They just feel like it's a favor that's owed or due to their relative to put them on in the hip hop game, even if they whack. You know what I mean? Well, rather than putting on somebody else that deserves a break.
I think the game is like that now. I think that they strong arm in certain ways. I don't think it's like it was back in the 90s, but I do think they do it with money. You know what I'm saying? I think they strong arm with money. Like, yo, this for this. You know what I'm saying? Maybe play this for this. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you know, if I wanted you to play my record, my team You know what I'm saying? My team does all of that.
It's like Nas song, Strong Arm.
Yeah.
That tells you a lot right there.
A lot of people are getting strong arm to play records. So I mean, you think about it, it makes, look at all the teams that you have. And these dudes are chilling with guys that are, you know what I'm saying? They're not chilling with like guys with suits. They chilling with thugs. They chilling with dudes, and you know, it is what it is. It's kind of
the
like
biggest team that you got is a greater chance that you're gonna get hurt or you're gonna get a fair chance.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I've heard stories that Eric B strong arm. You know what I'm saying? To put Rakim on. I've heard.
Yeah, we ain't gonna put him out there like that, but we know what's up. We know what's up. We ain't gonna put Eric out there like that. But you know,
so I don't know. I've heard these stories. I've heard stories.
Allegedly. Yeah.
But, and I was young, so I wouldn't know anything. You know what I'm saying? So, but like, when it comes to like the strong arm thing, I think that a lot of these guys have a team of strong arm people. You know what I'm saying? That good.
See, I had a conversation with a well-known dude in the music industry some years back when I was doing my management thing, right? And I said, you know what's funny? That if I make a phone call or if I knock on a few doors to try to present a project, I might get dissed. I might get put on delay for a while or whatever. But if I show up to that same door with 20, 30 dudes asking for a meeting without making any vocal threat, but I just the simple fact that I showed up with 20, 30 dudes, most likely I might get that meeting ASAP right then and there.
Yeah, and that's what that seems like. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like the numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got numbers, and you got the numbers. That's your leverage. You know what I'm saying? If there's people there, like, listen. I mean, and like you said, there's no threat.
Yeah.
It's just saying the numbers. So, you know, to answer your question, I think that people are afraid of numbers, so they're gonna give you what you want based on numbers. You know what I mean? Yeah,
strength comes in numbers. I've always noticed another thing too, that you know, when I grew up on a street called St. Mark's Avenue in Brooklyn, New York, and I wasn't a project kid. I knew dudes from the projects, anywhere from Far Rockaway, Redfern projects, Ocean Village part. I had cousins that live in Ocean Village projects in Far Rockaway, and I had and then you're talking about Queensbridge and the 40s projects. You know, I knew people from these projects, but I'm not a project kid. You know what I mean? Well, across the street from me, Kingsborough projects in Crown Heights, I knew people there. I had an ex-girlfriend that lived there, but I'm not a project kid. So now, with that being said, most of the rap artists that blew up back in the 90s, they were from projects.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about projects like I know, projects come in numbers. You couldn't even go to the neighborhood pool if they had a pool at a YMCA without getting. If you're a regular street kid, like from St. Mark's Avenue, for example, even though my block was hard though, don't get me wrong, but if you was from a side street, so to speak, I know Boston got a lot of side streets also. That's not projects. If you were from a side street and had a little team of maybe 15 or 20 people, your team of 20 or 25 people can outnumber a bunch of project kids that might be like 100 deep. You got no wins. You know what I mean? So a lot of dudes and trying to enter the rap game and get deals with Loud Records and Def Jam and all that was really from the projects. A lot of them that made it. So like Fat Joe and them brothers are from the projects. And when they coming down, they coming with 100, 150 dudes one shot. So it's nothing you can do about it. But you know, those tactics, I believe, played a strong role, a pivotal role in getting a lot of dudes put on. You know what I mean?
I think that in sense of leverage.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with having numbers. The negative that is another. You know what I'm saying? Like the negatives, you know what I'm saying? If you get if you start beating people up or whatever, and I'm not saying anybody beat anybody up. I don't want people to say that.
That can happen with anybody. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not hating. I'm just trying to make people realize that numbers for some reason numbers always mattered. And like how you're approached in doing things, even in the corporate world, whether you're street or corporate, these things always happen. Monopolizing, monopoly, all of these things exist. You know what I mean?
And that's what I love about like I love there's a book that 50 Cent, the 50th Law, and he pretty much correlates the streets and the corporate world. Says parallels. Like I'm saying, it's the same as street and making money.
Same mentality. One is just a more politically correct way of doing things. That's all.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. A wolf in sheep clothing. That's all it is. Definitely. And who have you worked with in the industry? Who have you like? Have you worked with any notable people in the music industry?
I haven't worked with people. I've sent music to different people, like Hellraiser, Wu-Tang. I've opened up for a number of artists like X-Clan and Camp Low. These are a lot of old school artists.
Camp Low, I remember them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucini. Remember that single? You know.
My joint. Then I've opened up. I've tried to open up for KRS One, but that do. I've tried. I actually sent music to him too.
Okay.
I've worked. I've worked with a lot of
Who would you say your style is comparable to? I heard a couple of your mixtapes, and you definitely remind me of J. Rue the Damager, man. Really, definitely remind me of him. Yeah. Yeah.
I've in J. Rue the Damager. I've heard KRS. You know what I'm saying?
I would say your energy on stage, because I saw one of your shows. I definitely say a KRS One energy on stage.
Yeah.
And the bars and knowledge of self and science and your delivery is closer to like the J. Rue Damager, I would say.
Yeah. I get a few of those. I don't get that much, but I J. Rue Damager is a legend. So
yeah.
For me, I him when I was young. So would Come Clean and all that. So. So
do you get? Have you seen him lately? Have you seen him on a Tiny Desk concert?
Yes, I seen
in quarantine. That was hot, right? I was hoping that he performed the Come Clean one. I was hoping that he performed that, man, and he didn't, man. He probably forgot to. I don't know what happened, man.
Well, you know how those things go. If you got a certain time limit,
man, he should have at least hit us with that, like at least the third song or something. I know everybody was waiting for that one.
Yeah, know the funny thing about those things is when you do the Tiny Desk, I don't know how many, but like I guess they try to get as many hits in as possible. When Wu-Tang was up there, they was doing snippets of hits. And I find that, a lot of artists that have like certain hits in the hip hop community, they try hits, like as opposed to me, I'm trying to hit you. You know what I mean? So because I'm still, I look at it as like I'm always a new artist.
Yeah. Okay. True that. And have you ever thought about, or have you already have what do you think about that in terms of diversity of since your background is Panamanian, and like let's say, like, have you ever thought of performing your musical works with somebody from another country, maybe let's say from Panama? Have you done working with anybody in that area?
I've worked with the biggest producer there, Chombo. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, familiar with him. Definitely. I mean, we definitely.
Well, I definitely by way of
I think I actually introduced you to him. Actually, yeah.
By way of your management, I went down in 2007.
Okay.
And I recorded 2 tracks called Quiero Dembo.
Okay.
And Psych.
Mr. Psych, right, from Panama.
Yeah.
Big shout out to him. Yeah.
Dominican, I think.
He's Dominican originally, but he started his music career in Panama.
Yeah. I did another song with Mr. Psych called Voy Pa Allá.
Okay.
So
which in English, Voy Pa Allá, in Spanish, translating from Spanish to English means I'm going there. I'm headed there. Like you telling the female, I'm coming over to your house and we're gonna get it popping.
Yeah, and that's what the song was about. You know what I'm saying? And it was a dope track. I know it charted in that area. Quiero Dembo, we did 2 videos. We did like 2 videos, one really released on YouTube and other places. I have the solo version of the song on my album.
Okay.
All right. Versus the video shows the remix with Psych.
Okay.
nails on both songs. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I've worked with him. It was a different experience. It was definitely an experience because you're dealing with reggaeton style, not just like reggaeton that you hear from like, you know, like you're not hearing. There's different types of. I always want to explain this to people, and you know this already. There's different reggaeton. Right? There's the reggaeton that comes from different regions, and then there's original plates. Panama is the place of reggaeton by way of El. Right, Sam? The general, Sam, and that he recorded his first album in Puerto Rico. I heard, but his style came from, you know what I'm saying? And pretty much his reggaeton style, Spanish rap together. You know what I'm saying? And the beats pretty much are like. Just dembos. That's what they call dembos.
Dembos. The sound of dembo originated from Jamaica with Shabba Ranks and a producer, a producer that died the other day, and I think he originated the dembo sound. I forgot what his name is. I think it's Bobby Digital. Bobby Digital from Jamaica. Rest in peace.
Wow. I didn't know he passed away.
Yeah, he passed away. Yeah. Yeah, and so he's the godfather of the dembo sound, which now the Dominicans use, and they use it for a lot of their artists, and it's still a sound, but they sped up the sound. They sped up the beats per minute. The BPM is a lot more faster in Dominican Republic, and yeah, definitely. So, but you know, I want you to clarify. So this guy El Chombo, his real name is I'm seeing his name is Rodney Clark. Well, I know that because I dealt with him myself also. You know what I mean? Of course, you know we did business with him. But just to let the people know, this is a guy that made more than 10, 15 CDs in his career. He's a hell of a producer. Cool guy to speak with. Very intellectual. Well-spoken guy. He spent some time in New York and wound up in Panama and producing a lot of artists from Panama. And you actually landed on one of the single that you did with him actually made it to a track number 14 is featuring you. A.M.B. It says here track number. This is also available, people, on Amazon. You could Google it also. So track number 14, A.M.B. from Boston. Quiero Dembo is the name of the song with Leo Almangor and Mr. Psych. And so you're on track number 14, and this CD was a compilation that was distributed in Mexico and with Sony Music, Sony BMG Music, right? Correct? Okay, so and it charted in Mexico for some couple of weeks, and so that's a good accolade right there, an international accolade. A lot of people probably didn't even know that about you. That you know other local artists that live in Boston didn't know that your music made it internationally like that. Working with the producer, super producer, the Godfather, self-acclaimed Godfather of reggaeton music, El Chombo, Rodney Clark. Shout out to him. And how was your experience like working with Rodney, with El Chombo in Panama? How did you get there? How did that happen? How did it even come together where you caught his attention?
I caught his attention by way of we had did a song. It was me. A lot of people don't know you MC.
Yeah, when I was rapping and stuff. Yeah, definitely.
We did a song called "It's Like That" or something like that.
We made a little demo first. Yeah.
Little demo with a young brother from Florida, young Pat, and we went into the studio. We recorded, kind of like one, you know what I'm saying? Recorded it, and then we sent it to this producer named Elian Davis, who
shout out to Elian Davis, which is the half brother of a famous recording artist called A.K.A. Rookie from Panama. Elian Davis, what's up, man? Yeah. So
he ended up making a dope track over what we did.
We sent the vocals, remember?
And we sent the vocals, so it be down. But also, I had did a song way before 2003 called "For My Paper" over the Sean Paul beat.
I remember that.
Like, and I mentioned Chombo because there was two Chombos I didn't know. There was DJ Chombo and there was El Chombo. I met DJ Chombo, you know what I'm saying? And I did a song with the name in there. And
so you already, and this is before even meeting me as a music manager. When I was managing, you already had mentioned his name in the song, not even, and you didn't even know him.
Yeah, I didn't know.
So that's they see the power of the universe, people. How you threw that energy out there.
Yeah. So I do it. I did the song. I put it on my third mixtape. And when I went down to Panama, I went down there in 2003. I had played that song. I sent it down there, and apparently in Cologne, which is like where my family's from.
Cologne, yeah. Shout out to Cologne, yeah.
And
my homie Japanese from there too. What's up, Japanese?
Yeah.
So
when you got the word of the song, when I told you that I did, stuff for the Chombo.
Because I met you I think we met at the radio station in Northeastern University, right?
With my man Big Car and Big Sam.
Shout out to Big Car from 104.9 FM, the radio station on Northeastern back in the days. Yeah.
At a young age over there. And so I showed you that record, and then you sent that to Chombo. Well, you told Chombo out there. I played it for him when I was in the studio with him back in 2007.
I think we made a demo with Elian first. Elian fixed it up, and then Elian gave me the contacts to call Chombo. Then I called Rodney. I called him and I said, "Hey, I got an idea." That idea basically was, how about including a guy that can rap in English and intertwining the English with the Spanish, kind of like what Cardi B and them people are doing today, right?
Yeah, and
we did that a long time ago.
Yeah, so what ended up happening, he cut back to you, boom. We ended up going down to Florida for like 20-something hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a vigorous trip. Little Haiti, all that. It was all over.
We was in Dade County, so when people say like other hoods and hood this, we know.
We walked through Little Haiti. That time, I believe Zopound was active too. We walked right through Little Haiti, man. Shout outs to Blind and Red Eye and them dudes from Zopound.
Yeah, all through there, and we stayed there for like a week or two, and then I ended up flying to Panama. I ended up flying to Panama, and I stayed there for 2 weeks, and so pretty much I took like a leave of absence from my job to do this. You know what I'm saying? It was, you believe in something, you do it because you know that you can do it. You know what I'm saying? And you go down there. So I was in constant contact with you about, what to do. Your
mom's is very supportive though. Shout out to your moms too, by the way.
Yeah, she helped with some of the money from to go down there. So that when she went down, I went down there. I got them. I was with my cousin. I got introduced to Chombo. So he brought me in the studio, and working in the studio with him was like he was coaching me because, I had the bars, but it's just like you said earlier, like to do
commercial.
To do commercial, you can't be giving them like 100 cannabis bars. You know what I'm saying? You got to give like simplistic structure. So that's what he was on, and he played a certain song that pretty much changed my course of how to do marketable music. You know what I'm saying? And it was a song with Daddy Yankee and Snoop Dogg, Gangsta. So played that song, and I was seeing how Snoop Dogg rapped. He wanted me to pay attention to how Snoop Dogg rapped. You know what I'm saying? And Snoop Dogg did his thing on it.
He just kept his same cadence, basically, and just stayed right on beat. Yeah.
Exactly. So when he played that, it gave me the structure of how I could deal with it and go by. You know what I'm saying? Once down, then it was a one taker from there. Like, okay. And then I guess I came in the studio after I already came back to America. But the experience of it was crazy. And
was he a fast worker? Was Chombo like working? Was he fast when it comes to producing the beat, or did he already? How did he get the idea for the song that you created? Did he hear your acapella first and made the beat around it, or did he make the beat first and you had to write to it?
He played so he made the beat right in front of me. Like I was sitting there, right, and he didn't take a lot of time to make the beat. You know what I'm saying? So he's pretty quick because he has a structure of how he does things. And I always say this: a person that has a lot of mess in their work area, you know what I'm saying?
It's an organized person. Yeah, organized confusion. Yeah.
Exactly, organized confusion. So when you see a person like this, he had his keyboards a certain way, but he knew everything.
It felt comfortable with him. That's the energy that he. Yeah.
He was proficient. Like he was proficient. Like he went in there, we did a rough. You know what I'm saying? So he did a rough, and I recorded 2 8-bar verses. You know what I'm saying? And I did the chorus. My along with me to the Costa. I did that. I wrote all of that. So he was feeding off of what I did. You know, he built everything else around me, which to me was kind of crazy. And then
he's a genius. Rodney is a genius. So definitely.
After that, he brought me to the hotel where he put me in a hotel. And after that, I went back to Cologne with my family, and then I flew to the United States. And months later, so it was like 2000. It was like months later. He had flew me to Panama to do the videos.
Okay, I remember that. Yeah, he went back to do the video. Yeah.
And he called me out, and I was in the studio session when he called me. I remember I was in the studio session recording, you know, some hip hop that I'm not used to. You know what I'm saying? And I get the call, and he's like, "Yo, what up? Da 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 da. Ready to bring you down because I guess apparently the music has charted over there in Panama. He wanted a video to get a good visual, so he spent a lot of money. The video that he did, I heard, was the first of its type. So what that means is he had a lot of people that did videos, like what's the kid? I forgot these dudes' names. Jimmy
Bad Boy.
Bad Boy. He did the video. He had models and stuff like that. But the type of video that he structured was the first of his kind doing those type of videos. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So when I went down there, we did that video. I'll tell you this: they went through the director, I forget his name, but
Boris Sucre.
Sucre, yes.
Big shout out to Boris Sucre. He make a lot of videos for a lot of artists in Panama.
That was actually a music video. I never did a music video before that reggaeton video. You would think that, like, being a hip hop artist, you would do a hip hop video, but doing a reggaeton with hip hop, that was my first music video that I was in, and it was very different. Like, most of the time you're waiting, you know what I'm saying? For the next scene, they got the track, and you got to do makeup and all that. That's new to me. You know what I'm saying?
It was new to you. You're like, damn, this is like Hollywood.
Yeah, so that's, you know what I mean? Like,
we're going to put a link of the video below so the people could check it out and to see. And even at the beginning of the video, I saw that it seemed like as if y'all guys was in Boston or something, and he came to meet you in Boston.
Because they talked to me about that. They said that, you know, what was in the closest thing that they could mimic was the Boston Library. So the fire wouldn't be burnt in Boston. I mean, just knowing the laws here, you know what I'm saying? But that structure of it being cold, you know, was hot. Like, I had like my hot Rex on, you know what I'm saying? But given that structure that we was in Boston and Chombo came to see me with the bag, you know what I'm saying? And that was symbolism that we're gonna make moves, you know what I'm saying? So that video, you know, it did well down there, and, you know, certain things and out after that, not, you know what I mean, to my knowledge, but like, you know, working with him and working with them and seeing them and seeing how they responded to me, because it was like a lot of them was looking at me because I'm from America, you know what I'm saying? So they look at you like, yo, like you know what I mean? Like, even when Boris took me to this place, and there was people, the locals in Panama City was like, yo, is he a, you know, reggae star? Is he a music star? So that was the type of energy that was surrounding.
Because they're used to their energy. Their energy, when they show up, when them boys show up, something serious about to happen.
Yeah, and they seen seen me with that same energy, and I was like, okay, I might get used to this. You know,
and you signed a few autographs out there too and everything. Also, yeah.
You know, people they wanted to know what the music, you know what I mean? At the time, I didn't have a website, you know what I mean? So, but I had CDs and stuff like that. They were signing autographs. It was a cool experience at that moment. You know what I'm saying? So
Panama is definitely an interesting place, man. There's some other artists in hip hop that people might not know of. Artists and DJs like DJ Clark Kent. Shout out to him, legendary DJ. He's Panamanian. And then you got the homeboy Uncle Murder from Brooklyn. He told me personally that he's Panamanian. So it's a lot of dudes that's from the Panamanian lineage that one way or the other, whether famous or not that famous, that contributed to music culture per se. You know what I mean? And you know, it's crazy how you worked with such a big producer in Latin America, a worldwide producer such as El Chombo. This is a guy that now for the people that want to know more about the combination with A.M.B and Chombo, as I said before, I'm going to put the link below. this guy Chombo. Hopefully, I get to interview him one of these times and stuff. And this is a guy that his recent work, I believe, is with he got a song out with Pitbull, Carol G from Colombia, and Pitbull, Carol G, and another artist. I forgot the name of the other artist. I don't know what's the name of the artist. But yeah, I mean, this is a hit making guy right here, and we was definitely hoping that song that you made was going to be a worldwide hit. It had his little buzz, but hopefully in the future we could duplicate that and work on something else again. If the powers to be, the energy is right and everybody's on the same page, so we could make history repeat itself. Because right now that's even more acceptable. The whole Spanish, the whole English rap mixed in, collaborating with the artists from the Spanish world. So now that's the thing that we was already dabbling in a long time ago. Me and you we spoken about things like that. So now we're starting to see it unfold with Cardi B and artists such as that. Fat Joe been doing it. The bilingual thing going on. You got my man Thurston Howell III. He's been doing it. Hurricane G, she's been doing it before Cardi B. This, the bilingual rap, it's Spanish and English. So, so it's interesting, man. It's interesting that we educate the viewers and they know that this is not a new thing. This already has been done already. Mm-hmm. But according to society and music, and people that have the bigger platforms, if they see somebody else do it that's more famous than other artists that's not as famous, they feel like they feel as if though that artist invented the damn thing.
Yeah, I mean that's the unfortunate thing about it. People that originated it or came up with it or was on that wave first, if they don't get money or what I'm saying, the status that they don't get the credit for it, and that's to me. I mean, how I feel about that when it comes to. I always feel like everybody that deserves their due on certain things. If you created something, you should get the credit for it.
Exactly.
And I tell you what I've learned from that experience taught me how to do certain records, not necessarily hip hop. Like I was reached out by a Nigerian guy he's from Nigeria, of course, and I did a song over a beat that he sent me, Afrobeat. So that wave of just being international, knowing how to dip into records that are hip hop, I can do that now, and I've been doing. It's and it's on my latest called My Culture.
Okay.
So like it's definitely like the ability to do that kind of reminds me of like the versatility that Busta Rhymes has, where he can like that.
So overrated, man. But Busta's like, if not the greatest, one of the greatest.
Yeah, he's one of the greatest.
Busta's, man.
MC. I mean, we talk about the Jay-Z's, the Nas, and they're great. You talk about Busta, man. Busta is like, so that. When I went into those records back in 2007, it's get into these records in 2020 that are not necessarily rap. Even on my laptop, it's like a Caribbean style song. You know what I'm saying? I did like Afrobeat songs that sounded like Afrobeats. It didn't sound like hip hop. The only hip hop you heard was me. So that showed me how to structure songs that can be hits. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, man. It's crazy how time fly by. Definitely, man. What's the scenery in Boston right now with music right now? What's getting played on the radio? Are there any hip hop radio stations like there once was, like 88.9 WERS? What's going on?
88.9 is not doing its thing no more as far as hip hop. Lost a lot of radio stations, so a lot of people are into podcasting.
That's the new thing, yeah.
Yeah, so but they're not really like podcasting. Some of them are news podcasters that talk about the political side. People talk about sports, but there's no real hip hop podcast that really, and not really hip hop. A podcast that's so universal. You know what I'm saying? That you can interview a hip hop artist, you can interview a singer, you can interview an actor. Their podcasts are kind of strictly stuck on the same. I don't want to say tunnel vision, but they kind of on that same tunnel vision of this is what I'm gonna talk about. You know what I'm saying?
That's what we see. That's the difference with us over here, man. If you're an EDM artist, producer, if you are, as long as it's in the, you don't even have to be entertainment, but we focus on entertainment as a whole. I don't care what genre you perform in, and if you're an actor, actress, we're gonna interview you. Everybody got a story. So this is a platform where I don't care how famous you are. I don't care if you was about to be famous. If you have a story that or a legacy that you don't want want to die. You don't want your legacy to die. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are so biased, man. A lot of other podcasters, they want to tell the story of guys that's just from the area where they grew up at, and that's it. Like no one else exists. You know what I mean? Nobody else contributed to hip hop music. Just New York. I'm from New York, and I can say this. You know what I mean? And so I just want to give everybody a chance to tell their story, whether you're from Connecticut, Detroit, whether you're from New Hampshire, Maine, I don't care. Wherever you're from, you got a story to tell. Definitely communicate, contact us. We're going to leave the links below and everything like that. And every story is deserved to be heard. You know what I mean? And it should, a lot of things shouldn't be forgotten, because if you don't tell it, nobody else going to tell it for you. Because everybody got their agendas. They got a reason why they don't want your story to be out there. You know what I mean? It might make them look less credible. You never know. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's why I created the T.Y.S podcast. Anything else you'd like to share with the people, eh?
Hey, man. I tell people this. Support the real, not any, but support the real. Also, I got these clothing line that's coming out.
I like the hat, yeah.
So this is my face. A lot of people don't know. This was all actually on my second album, this face.
Okay.
So I finally been able to put it on clothes. So I have T-shirts, I have hats. I got them this new styles, but so I have all of these different versions of the hat.
It's like a pharaoh, right?
Yeah, it's a pharaoh. So recognizing our royalty and that's who we are. You know what I'm saying? So, like these hats, beautiful. Right? So,
where can we buy them at? Where are you going to have them on Amazon? Where can we?
I have a full-fledged website called Pharaoh on Top. So I'm gonna have that. You can also go on. You can go on Instagram, African or man_born.
Yeah.
And I'm on there.
Yeah, please let them know your social media. How they communicate with you in case they want to collaborate with you, anything like that, or other people might want to interview you.
So if you want to interview, you can hit me up on Facebook at African Man Born Music. You know what I'm saying? I do my live podcast there. My live podcast is pretty much information. And
what's the name of your podcast?
A.M.B TV Live.
Okay. So everybody, be sure to check for this brother right here if you're interested, if you want to hear more of his story.
Yeah, and you definitely want to ask questions, and I usually talk about a lot of things that's currently going on. You know what I'm saying? I like to talk about a lot of it, and I'm very raw with it. I'm raw because I feel like we need somebody that's that radical to speak. You know what I'm saying? You ain't like go out there and say it, and you know, people pop it up with me. That's why I do it live. People can actually go live and be like, yo, I have something to say. So I have that. So mainly you can hit me on Facebook, A.M.B, African Man Born Music. On Facebook, you can look at Pharaoh on Top LLC. That's going to be all the products. So I have more than the hats or in the clothes is what I'm getting in. And I want it to be like the new hip hop symbol for people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And what do you think about today's? You know, I'm not going to get too deep into it because we're going to be here all day long. I'm definitely want to extend an invitation to you for a second round of conversing with you based on what do you think about what's going on, the energy, the aura of what's going on today in society as far as, you know, the whole George Floyd I won't call it an incident, the George Floyd murdering, the homicide, the killing.
It's nothing new than what we've been going through. We've been telling people this for years that this is going to be like an open season on Black folks, and George Floyd is another name that is added to the list, unfortunately, along with Sandra Bland and Trayvon Martin and Freddie Gray and or Philiandro Castile and all these other names. It could be me. It could be you. So, like I always tell people, we have to be on our guard, and we have to, if it's political, I'm not against politics. I'm against negative politics that don't get anything done.
Yeah.
We're going to protest, have an agenda. And for the people that have the agenda, operate and make sure you don't stop until that agenda is met. If we're going to vote, make sure you vote the people by bringing collectively, financially supporting politics that we want. I think that we choose people that we don't want, and we allow them to choose people that we don't want. When we can be like, yo, I know plenty of people that are into politics here in Roxbury that we can get to make a forefront mayor or governor. You know what I'm saying? And we should be able to do that, like put our money together, but we got to stop fighting. That's the biggest issue, is us fighting amongst each other over the stupid things. We can just actually, make those moves. So situations like George Floyd, we don't want them to happen 30 years from now when we're in our 70s. You know what I'm saying? We want to be able to establish things ahead of time. So what we want to do, what I feel like the energy is, we need to start saying enough is enough and actually use our platforms. Like, this is a good platform.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a good platform. Movie, good platform. But also politics is a good platform. Okay. Radio. I think that we need to collectively, as one people, indigenous people, be like, yo, enough is enough. What can we add to each other? Everybody has a good gift. You know what I'm saying? And we need to use those gifts to make sure that there's not another George Floyd or Trayvon or Sandra Bland or any other, what's a girl's name that got killed? Breonna Taylor. You know what I'm saying? Sure that these
Rest in peace to her also. Yeah.
Yeah. I was messed up what happened to her. I mean,
and the brother that was jogging in Atlanta, Georgia too.
Ahmaud Arbery, yes.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that those don't happen. Because let's say if we did that, let's say we did it, there's consequences. You know what I'm saying? We know that there's consequences. So the world needs to know there's consequences for killing us as well. You know, so we have to.
You know, somebody made an interesting point. I believe I was watching somebody else's interview on a podcast, and I've never, in my times of getting harassed by the police also and everything, I've never seen in a predominantly white community 5 black police officers jump out and harass and physically abuse a white person that live in that predominantly white community in front of all his people. I've never seen that happen. But you see it in any given time, even back in my days, especially the 90s, when we didn't have the body cameras, the cameras and all that stuff, you see like 10 white police officers, even in anywhere from Brooklyn to like Dorchester, you see 10 white police officers that's not from the neighborhood, the community. Damn near try to arrest you and rough you up in front of your own parents.
Yeah.
And disrespect your parents and like as if their authority doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why we have to start taking matters into our own hand and actually learn what we can do, because they build things, there's policy built against us, but there's always policy built for you to take advantage of.
What do you think about the defunding the police officers? Do you think that I definitely think, America's as capitalistic as America is, I believe that once you hit them in the pockets, that's when they start to feel it the most.
I've always felt like that works. I mean, look at if you defund the police, but also require
funding in the unions, yeah.
Like Governor New York, he stopped chokeholds throughout the whole state. Like they can't do chokeholds. So that's a start. And also
remember when they had to stop and frisk? I knew that was going to be a problem when they had to stop and frisk a long time ago, because they was going to pinpoint and target certain people for that. That's just an excuse. Yeah,
it's to harass blacks, and we need to have laws that protect us just like anybody else. We're not trying to be like. See, that's one of the things I tell people. We're not trying to be like anybody else. We just want the same respect that everybody else is getting.
That's it.
We live on this land too, you know what I'm saying? And first of all, a lot of our lineage is on this land before.
Yeah.
That's a whole different other conversation, but at the same time.
Yeah, they're not ready for that. They definitely not ready for that conversation. And do you think it's a matter of Why is it an ongoing tension between black and white, and mostly in the U.S.? You know, this kind of stuff exists in other countries also, the state, but it seems like, especially when I'm abroad, when I'm overseas, I don't feel the same tension. When I get back in the U.S., it's always everything. And mind you, I want to be clear on one thing: racism is on both angles. You got black people as racist also.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like the whole, I feel like the reason why it's so 10 years because it's a focus. Like it's a huge focus on black versus, it's a focus on black versus white. There's other races of people. There's the Indians, but they focus on black and white.
But do you think it's because the tensions was just so recent in the 60s? Because the 60s, Martin Luther King days, Malcolm X days, that was just right around the corner.
Well, I think that the focus is on black and white like the 60s because it was legal to get away with killing black folks from the white side, but it was illegal for black folks to kill anyway. You know what I'm saying? Even your own. That, when you look at like, because of the slavery aspect, we know that slavery ended in 1865.
Yeah.
But still have that in your mind. So that's why you got that are even self-hating against their own. And then you have the racism part. The racism on black part is more like, I don't like white people because of what we went through, right?
Yeah.
But never been through, you know what I'm saying? Anything. Like I've been through some racism, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'm not going to let racism stop me from moving. You know what I mean? Like how I move, I don't walk with that fear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where I'm worried about a white man coming up to me. Like he had to worry about me. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. And not because I'm a violent person. It's because I'm having no fear. I don't walk like that. So in the same instance, a lot of us we fear each other for some reason. And I think that in my experience,
it's racism within us, within ourselves. You're light skinned, you're more lighter. He's more darker. And there's this,
crazy. And that's crazy because
colorism. I'd rather call it colorism.
Yeah. That's like in Africa they call that apartheid. You know what I'm saying? There's like in light skin. Remember the
South Africa, what is it? The Tutsi, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in Hutus versus the light skin.
The lighter Africans. Yeah, definitely. My ex-girlfriend was from South Africa. I used to ask her about that all the time. Yeah.
Like, let's say you represented Costa Rica, I represent Panama, and we beef them because I'm from Panama, you from Costa Rica. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense because we're both black. We both Nubian. We both have a lineage that ties us to greatness. You know what I'm saying? Why we have to change our whole mindset period before we start. Like when I address racism, I don't address it from a hateful standpoint. I address it from an education. But I give people the truth. There's a lot of things that white folks have done in our history, but we also got to take responsibility for what we do to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And we have to change what we do to ourselves. A lot of us have done some things, but once you start to grow, see, like, listen, man, I'm gonna address racism from an educated standpoint and try to get people to unify on a love tip, but be realistic. You know what I'm saying? It's a tough mission in America because you're right. When you go to Panama and places like that, you don't have the same racial tension. You don't have that focus on racism. You know what I'm saying? Here,
do you think it's because like a lot of Panamanians are of a darker complexion? Because a lot of black people in Panama, black Latinos.
I think there's a lot of dark people, and I think the fact that in Panama they had women presidents, and they also had dark presidents, black presidents. You know what I'm saying? They didn't just have one shade of president. In America, you have one black president amongst 44 other white ones. You know what I'm saying? So from George Washington all the way down to Trump, you had one black president. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of shows you the fabric of the nation in a sense. You know what I'm saying? From the top to the bottom, America got to take responsibility for its racist look.
Yeah.
Panama, you had women presidents. You had even black women presidents. My mother told me that there was a black woman president in office recently in Panama. So, and they've always had like all different shades of presidents. They didn't have just all different shades of presidents. And I think that makes the country look a little bit different than when you go into America, where there's only, like in other places too, that when they only have one colored president. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, and it's not like a black president is going to just do for blacks, which I feel like the country kind of does for whites. It kind of just do mostly for the liberty of whites and kind of just pushes the blacks over. And then at the same time, our mindset is depressing, where we start to let that racism overshadow us, so we don't want to succeed in anything. You know what I'm saying? So, which is sad. So I always push like, nah, you can't let racism determine your goals, your dreams, your family. Your kids are looking at you now. You know what I'm saying? But over there, they don't see that. They don't really see it like they do here. They see racism, but they don't see it like they do here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, though, anytime we do, like what happened with Obama, when we do have a black person in office, I feel like we shouldn't. It's kind of difficult for them too if you put yourself in their shoes, because like we kind of almost obligate them to do for us when we forget that at the end of the day they're law enforcement people first. You know what I mean? They're politicians first or whatever. So they got an oath. They got an oath to that first before anything else. You know what I mean? And then honestly, what we're looking for, a lot of, not me per se, but what a lot of us are looking for these kind of people to do. That's why I don't even believe in leaders no more. The last leaders already passed away, which was like Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King. That was the last leaders, real leaders, black leaders right there. And I don't look forward to any more. I think we all need to lead. We need to lead our own selves. You need to take care of your household, your community. You need to lead your children. We all need to take the initiative and lead, and not look forward to sit back and look for somebody to lead us. You understand me? We need to step up to the plate and become our own leaders. You know what I mean? When it's time to go out there for our voices to be heard, we go out there in numbers, because strength is definitely in numbers. And that's what need to be done. We shouldn't. Obama had so much pressure, man, and he was to a certain extent, he definitely was real, because remember the incident that happened in Cambridge, Massachusetts, with Henry Gates, I believe, the Harvard professor,
that was his first
when he was stereotyped by the police officer. Now I'm assuming he didn't live where he actually lived at, around close to within walking distance of Harvard University, and Obama intervened into that to calm down the tension. Remember that? Because he was a friend of Obama.
Yeah.
So I've always wondered why, even though I hear people always say Trump is racist and all this other stuff, I've always wondered why, since he's so vocal about everything else, and he knows he ought to know that people think he's racist. Why don't he ever make a speech about or say something about racism that is just totally 100% wrong, and speak about it? And I mean, I heard him say one or two things here and there, but it don't seem too sincere to me. It's almost like he wants to, he don't want to lose his supporters, because you know what kind of supporters he have also. Yeah. So it's like, he's a businessman, so he don't want to lose business neither. You know what I mean? Yeah. This guy already got. I mean, look at his accolades. Now he's president. He had a reality show, successful one, The Apprentice. He got a lot of money. I feel like at the age that he's at right now, he shouldn't have anything to lose right now. He shouldn't have to care about what anybody think anymore. He already served 4 years in the 1 term, 4 years in the office. At this point, he should say, like, look, this stuff is wrong, period. And y'all need to cut it out, whatever. Just to at least show to the black community that he's really with them, and he don't believe in racism. But he hasn't done that. You know what I'm saying? He got nothing to lose. If he do it, he don't got nothing to lose.
I mean, true leaders would step up and say that enough is enough.
Yeah, he can do it.
He can do that. He has the power to do it. So it just questions his intentions on why he hasn't done it. You know what I'm saying?
Does he care, or does he just don't, or did he really actually do believe in it? I'm starting to think.
Probably. I mean, he might, because there's a lot of history in his family that links to.
We know that. Yeah.
So I mean,
I grew up in New York. Certain people of color getting tossed out of his building, or getting discriminated. not wanting to lease apartments and in some of his properties. Yeah, I've heard it, man.
No, it's that's a whole different live or a whole different podcast.
Whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna end it off here, man. So we'll top it off with this. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, in Crown Heights, and I recall at the time that I grew up, it was tensions with the Jewish community around Crown Heights, Brooklyn. So it was the Crown Heights riots, Eastern Parkway, President Street, all those areas right there, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, damn, I've been through hell. I seen them vandalize the private school that I went to, St. Mark's Day School, when I was in middle school, and I seen the tensions between the Jewish and the black community there. And when I left New York to Massachusetts, I'm like, oh, breath of fresh air. To my surprise, seems like there was a hell of a lot of racial profiling going on in Massachusetts also. Oh, yeah. You want to elaborate about that?
Well, remember, there was the busings back in the 70s and 80s where South Boston, you couldn't go into South Boston until like the end of the 90s. And that was only because...
So you say you couldn't go in there? What you mean? Like you just couldn't walk there? What you
couldn't really walk there. I mean, it's equivalent to like what
Bensonhurst or Howard Beach in New York. Yeah.
If you was black like that, unless you wanted to fight, you know what I'm saying? And same thing in South Boston. You couldn't go places in South Boston. You couldn't really go past Broadway. So, you know, Broadway T Station, you couldn't go past there and be black in those areas when
crazy.
A lot of racial tension, you know what I'm saying? So it was definitely segregated back in the 90s, 80s when they had separate schools, Roxbury schools, Dorchester schools. But if you were black, you were good. But if you were black and you went to or went to white area.
Like if you went to Charleston High School like I did.
Yep, went to Charleston High School. There was some racial tension.
Yeah, you're gonna have to be ready to fight.
Yeah, those projects, predominantly white people in those projects. And they didn't, you know what I'm saying? And just like in South Boston, Old Colony Project, all right?
And then Charlestown was the townies, but I forgot the name of them projects out there.
Yeah, I forgot the name.
I forgot.
But, you know, projects are still there. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're still there. I mean, even Old Colony, they're tearing it down now. But, you know, those areas, there's black people living in Old Colony now. But, like, it's 2020. They probably allowed black people living there like the early 2000s. But before that, you was black, you lived over there. You was getting harassed, chased. I got to some fights in South Boston.
Didn't Marky Mark catch a case or something for being racist when he was a teenager? throwing rocks and stuff in the busting era?
Yep.
And injured somebody? Yeah.
Yep.
He apologized for it later on, but I don't know how sincere that was. But, you know, he definitely had his little moment too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Moments, you know what I'm saying? And so you got to think of that energy and what it was back then. You know what I'm saying? And it was definitely a lot of people didn't know that. A lot of people didn't know about that because when you actually come here and you see it, you're like, damn. You know, because you look at Boston a certain way, you're like,
a lot of people in New York complain about the racism in Boston. A lot of people.
Yeah, when I go to New York sometimes, there was this one security guard. He said, yeah, it's racist in Boston. And,
that's the first thing they said. Jesse Jackson started that, saying that this is not a place for black people. I remember when Jesse Jackson visited Boston, and he said that, and Mayor I think it was Mayor Menino at the time, the mayor of Boston, that said, you're not welcome back here anymore. Like, he just really tried to, you know.
That was Mayor Flynn.
Was it Menino, right? Okay.
Was around since the 70s. So what happened was, he, well, not him, but the guy, in 1976, there was a lawyer, black guy, that was walking down City Hall, and these two white dudes jumped him and stuck a flag through him. You know what I'm saying? The picture of that, like, you can put that picture on Google, right? Yeah. Like, that was the mentality, but a lot of people didn't understand. Had that racism, or still has it, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, a lot of people didn't realize that it was there. And I guess that's how people get caught off guard, because when they see it, you know, you're expected to see it like in the South or, you know, certain places in New York or whatever. But when you come to Boston, people don't understand until they actually see it. You know what I mean? And Boston's a generally liberal city, right? They have their specks of their racism that still exists to this day that people don't know about, like the history of that, busing all the way to the schools and the grading and all that other stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, now it's...
I had a little incident there before. Yeah, I definitely had. I remember when I first went there, it was a company that I worked for was Labor Ready, that I tried, you know, everybody used to try to get a gig at Labor Ready. And I was, one day I was walking with a guy I had met that didn't get a job that day, that we was waiting for all morning long, and we was walking, I believe, in the South Boston area, and this guy just came fresh out, and this is an Army veteran. You know what I mean? He just came from the Gulf War. Remember that war with Bush and all that, the Gulf War? Yeah. And so I'm walking with him, and he's telling me all these stories, and we got a good vibe going on. And it was summer, so we was headed towards a cookout. I invited him to go to a cookout, you know, since we was working that day. Where my god sister was keeping a cookout back in Dorchester, I believe. And then I get two white guys, I think Irish guys, came out of an Irish pub over there, South Boston, and one of them said something there. Must have said something racist or something. All I remember him just boom, banging him in the head real quick, or just punching one of the guys in the face. And the friend of the other guy that said something racist tried to jump him, and me and being the guy that I am, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna stand there and watch the brother get jumped. So I grabbed the other guy, and we did some work on these two dudes and stuff. And the thing that was appalling to me, across the street, the police was right there. It was like, it's kind of like Harlem Nights. The police was watching the whole thing go down. Yeah. White police officers. So now I always said about that incident, I always said this to myself. If we, I think the police was watching. They didn't want to break up anything. They was hoping that we was going to get defeated. They was hoping that these guys was going to beat us up. That's what they was hoping for, because he was across the street watching the whole thing, sitting in a patrol car. Yeah. But the tables turned, and we did some work on these dudes. Mm-hmm. Shout out to them if they remember my face. You know what I mean? And what we did that day. But the outcome wasn't a good outcome for those guys, understand me? And then the police came all of a sudden to break it up and say, hey, break it up. And as I was trying to explain to the police what happened, the police said, yeah, we know. This guy, hurry up and get out of here and just jump on the train and go about your business. So I'm like, you saying yeah, you already knew. So I'm assuming that you already knew what was happening, because you was watching it unfold from across the street.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I was like, that was my first taste of racism over there, man. And I said, damn, ain't that something? We young kids. We probably was like 18 or something. And these guys was like 35, construction work and big built white dudes. But we made an impact that day, though. Understand me? We made an impact that day. But anyway, so brothers, good talking to you. Yeah. I appreciate the time. I appreciate you looking healthy. Who's managing your career right now? Since it's not Garvey Black management anymore.
So my manager is Marcel Joseph. She's a lawyer, female lawyer.
Okay.
And managing
definitely support the females.
Well, yeah. She manages my career, and some of the ideas that I have, like putting these on hats and stuff like that. Those things.
Shout out to her. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she's managing my career. So you want to hit her up, just hit up, go on Google, or you could go on Facebook and hit her up. She's going to be developing a website. So,
okay.
I kind of convinced her to be like, yo, you can get a website. And like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because lawyers, they into everything. So I told her, get a website, man. And because, my cards have her number on it. So does she practice? What's her concentration? Is it what kind of law? Is it entertainment law? Her concentration is actually criminal. And
okay.
She always wanted to get into entertainment, which is where I come. I know the music industry. So as far as law and entertainment, she's diligently working on that as well.
Okay.
So that's work. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
So she still do a few things, put a little, you use your thoughts and things that you experience with me, things that I've been taught you, put some paperwork together and get it notarized, and and that's that. You know what I mean? For the meanwhile, you know what I mean?
Exactly. So
definitely
at work, I kind of just focus on the craft. You know what I'm saying? You know, all that other stuff. She did all that. So yeah.
And what so what's personal life? Married yet? Any kids? What's going on, man? It's been some couple of years we spoke.
No kids yet. I ain't got no kids yet. I'm just trying to get everything to. We got some moves we're trying to do as me and my girl trying to do some moves before we settle down on stuff like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'll be older.
Sounds good. Huh?
I'll be older, so I have more patience. You know
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. A.M.B, African man born. You know, before you go, I just want to let the people know. Now, I don't do this for the views. I do this for the entertainment culture. So if you're a DJ, a recording artist, whether you're famous or not, we value your talent and want to interview you, tell your story. Please subscribe and hit that like button, never the dislike button. Check the links below to contact us and send us your work. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, tell your story. Peace.